Have you ever been faced with a moment that demanded action, but you hesitated, unsure if the time was right? Perhaps you are waiting on a perfect condition. Well, many of us have experienced this type of dilemma at least once in our lifetime. Fellow orators, dear judges, ladies and gentlemen, in times like these, when we are unsure if we should act or wait, Dr. King's word provides us with clear guidance. He stated, the time is always right to do what is right. In the Bahamas, many young people like myself find themselves trapped in a cycle of gang violence, drug abuse, and a lack of opportunity. But just as in the 1960s, when people questioned the timing to rise against a discriminatory system, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. understood that it is never too late, nor too soon, to make a change. He recognized that the longer we wait for the perfect moment, is the longer we allow those who perpetrate injustice to continue the harm. Back in Dr. King's days, when people were waiting on the perfect timing to take action, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. understood and he believed that the right time is always now to stand up for what is just, no matter how much it may seem to wait for better conditions or how difficult the situation may seem. And today, in a country where so many young lives are at risk, his message is even more urgent. The time is always right to do what is right. Referring to Dr. King's message has brought me to the realization that his quote can be summarized in 3 main points that are still relevant, even decades after his tragic assassination at the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee. First, it rejects the belief that it may be too late or too soon for change. I want you to think of the Youth Empowerment Program, the JA Club, or the Alpha Phi Alpha Education and Leadership Foundation. Those organizations and many others are working for better educational opportunities. What else comes to your mind after that? Are they waiting for the perfect moment to act? Certainly not. The people behind those organizations are acting now because they know if they wait for change, it will never come. Second, it highlights in us a spirit of urgency. Look around you. Every moment wasted is another life affected by violence, despair, or social injustice. Dr. King's word reminds us that we cannot afford to wait for better conditions because the better conditions are the ones we create by acting now. The last point calls us to a proactive mindset. Let me hear you say the word proactive.
Proactive.
One more time, proactive.
Proactive.
Amazing. Proactive, according to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, is acting in anticipation of future problems, needs, or change. And as we could see from history, Dr. King was so proactive. He did not wait for the government, nor the people around him to act. Instead, he took the initiative. Today, in our schools, neighborhoods, or even in nations like the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, it is up to us to be proactive. And that moment is now. OJ is a good friend of mine. One day, while debating this topic together, I shared with him the same ideas. He was so critical and challenging. He looked me straight in the face and asked, "Don't you realize our generation faces different challenges than those of Dr. King? I shook my head and smiled, knowing exactly he'd asked me such question. OJ, I told him, while our generation may face different challenges, the root cause remains the same, even in today's society. It is a lack of opportunity and a system that doesn't work in our favor. And as we fight those issues, Dr. King's word reminds us that we have to take action now, while forgetting the idea that it might be too late or too soon. And most importantly, with a proactive mindset. Ladies and gentlemen, before I leave the stage today, I challenge you to think of the moment in your life where you hesitated, wondering if the time was right. I challenge you to think of those affected by violence, injustice, or discrimination. Not just here, but all over the world. I challenge you to think of those people affected by violence in Haiti, or the war with Israel and Palestine, or Russia against Ukraine, or anywhere. You could think of people needing your help right now. The time is always now to stand up and do what is just. Like Dr. King said, the time is always right to do what is right. So let us unite and act. Let us be the generation that doesn't wait for change, but creates it. Because we are the change we've been waiting for.